Centre and the West Bengal government are on collision course. And this is happening as a result of the West Bengal government's management of the coronavirus situation in the state. Now, it's no secret that there are tensions between the centre and, of course, the ruling Trinamool Congress government in the state. But now it seems like it's bubbling up to the surface. To talk about why that is and what's the background for the situation, I'm going to ask my colleague Tushar Gupta. Tushar, can you just start us off with providing a background for why the center and the state are now coming to a head about the management of the coronavirus situation?
Hi, Karan. So, the tensions between the state government of Bengal and the center were already at a peak high since the Citizenship Amendment Act came into being, the protests, the kind of political exchanges that had been occurring. The tension was already there. What aggravated this entire situation was the handling of the coronavirus. Now, in the beginning, the state was following the norms set by the center. The cases were being reported as they should. People were being put into quarantine as they be should. The norms were being followed. What really put this entire thing into a hyperdrive, the conflict that is between the state and the center, is when the members of the Tablighi Jamaat, the entire issue happened. Now, a lot of those members went into other states, and there were, of course, cases as a result of that gathering. In Bengal, somehow, since then, this is around 12th April, suddenly the state government that is, went from following all the norms to just reporting the number of cases, the casualties, and the people recovered. So all of a sudden, there was not a lot of data coming out. That led many to fear that the state government was suppressing some data in the name of political appeasement. Because one question all healthcare officials had and other administrators had, that if the members of that gathering had cases, a resultant number of cases in other states like Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu or Kerala, why was not the same being witnessed in West Bengal? Even then, around 12th, 13th April, that is, the trackers that were keeping a tab on the cases count, one of the counters actually couldn't update West Bengal's data for 2 or 3 days because there was no data coming out of the state. So that was a very dangerous situation.
Of course, the numbers were out of whack with respect to how many were coming back from the Tablighi Jamaat gathering to the state and the numbers that were being reported. And ever since then, I think it's probably since the end of March, there's been this claim of an opacity around West Bengal's numbers, right? So is that what is making the center to sort of step in?
Absolutely. See, we as a nation are on a lockdown. This is not about the state or the center. The nation is on a lockdown. And somehow West Bengal has not been following the norms. Maybe this is political appeasement. Maybe this utter disregard from the guidelines for the center. You can term it as how it may. But the eventual consequences will be for the people of West Bengal. Please understand, the point of a lockdown is to cut down the community transmission. But what we see in West Bengal, as it was reported even on our Swarajya magazine, was that the meat markets were operational, the fish markets were operational. Now, no meat markets were operational across India. Why were they operational in West Bengal? There was a viral video of people of a Havara gathering which went viral. So these kind of instances have inspired people to ask questions. Why can't the state government come down heavily on all these gatherings? Why can't the lockdown norms be taken seriously? Please understand, Karan. On May 3rd, assuming West Bengal comes out with its numbers truly, even if then the community transmission has not been cut off, it could have tremendous consequences, both economic and social, for the government. And this is why the center has to step in. They want the lockdown measures to be adhered to. The state government has not been cooperating.
It's very clear that piping down the numbers is not going to help us solve the problem. Now, let's talk about what happened over the last couple of days. I think that's the trigger that has led to the state and the center coming to a head, which is the sending of officials by the center to the state. Can you give us a lowdown of what's happened over the last couple of days?
So the state has created six inter-ministerial central teams, six of them, two for Maharashtra, two for Madhya Pradesh, and two for West Bengal. The notice to West Bengal was given on April 19th. The teams landed on April 20th, but they were not provided any logistical support. Now, please understand, these teams do not carry with them any political political pursuit or any political ambition. Their entire job is to have a self-assessment of the ground, produce reports in the larger public interest, and share it with the center so that appropriate action can be taken. What the government and the state confused it with was some sort of heavy-handedness for the center. You could see a banter on Twitter where the CM is alleging that there was no protocol being followed and there was no sufficient time for the notice being given. At a point where we are in a lockdown, this is the last concern the state government should be having. There are teams just to conduct a self-assessment on healthcare grounds, nothing else. But somehow this has been made into a political issue. The second problem, why the teams were necessary in West Bengal, the testing has been a problem, Karan. As per the norms by the center, even people with mild symptoms or light symptoms, they need to be quarantined, they need to be tested. West Bengal has not been doing that. According to a report we ran, the testing in Bengal, compared to other parts of India, it was just at 0.00314%. That's not working out, right? It's like Bengal is sitting on a volcano of cases, and if it explodes, please understand, it's no one be the center or versus the state. The people stand to suffer. And the kind of population density we have in the state, the healthcare setup, it's going to be tremendous pressure. So that's what the center is trying to avoid.
Especially given how important testing is. I mean, it's one of the fulcrums of our strategy to beat the virus. I want to get your take on this one as well, because we want to consider both points of view here. Now, Mamata Banerjee was saying that it's against the spirit of federalism, the trying to send the teams to the state, and also was questioning the rationale for sending the teams to West Bengal as opposed to some other states, which, according to her, have many more cases. What do you think of that?
See, again, the center is just trying to get an understanding of the situation on the ground. This is, again, I understand the elections are due in Bengal next year. So there's a lot of political clout around this entire issue, but it's all about the people at the end. Eventually, the states are best left to deal with this situation. After May 3rd, when the lockdown is lifted, assuming it is lifted, it is going to be up to the states on how they want to take the measures. As we've seen it in my state, which is Punjab, as we've seen it in Delhi, states are making rules for themselves, but then they're sharing information with the center. There's clarity with the center what's going on in the states. What is the quarantine numbers? What are the case numbers? What are the recovery cases? Bengal has not been very forthcoming on the information. This is the problem. Eventually, states will be in the best position to deal with the outbreak at a local level. But then you need to assure the center that the norms are being followed. Right now, what center is doing is in the greater interest of the state in the long run. But the political clout around this entire issue, it's preventing both the parties from looking at the greater picture, the bigger picture, which will be very relevant after May 4. So for now, I think the state government should cooperate with the center. And in the long run, the center should leave it best to the state administration to deal with the outbreak at the local level. That's how it should work.
And also, if you go by the Disaster Management Act
of 2005, yes.
Yeah, it clearly lays the authority on the union government.
Absolutely.
To take over in situations like these. Thank you so much, Tushar, for joining us.
Thanks, Karan.